Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to talk about one of the most sacred and beautiful aspects of human life, the institution of marriage. A marriage rooted in love, purpose, and divine intention. But before the union, there is a preparation, a time of refining and readiness, a season where God gently shapes you into the person you need to be for the marriage He has in store for you. I want to speak today about the signs that reveal God's divine work in your life, preparing you for a future filled with love, joy, and commitment in marriage. Now, understand that marriage is not simply a relationship or a partnership, but it is a covenant, a sacred bond that represents the very relationship between Christ and the church. Therefore, it is essential to recognize the signs God gives you before you step into this lifelong commitment. The signs I will share today are not always visible at first glance, but they will become clear as you discern and seek God's voice in your life. As we embark on this journey today, I encourage you to be patient and reflective. Know that God's timing is perfect and His preparations for your marriage are divinely orchestrated for your ultimate good. Let us open our hearts and minds to these signs, trusting that the Lord is working behind the scenes, aligning everything for the fulfillment of His plan for your future marriage. A new sense of purpose and direction. When God is preparing you for a loving future marriage, He first begins by giving you a new sense of purpose and direction. You may have been drifting in life, unsure of what you are truly meant to do or where you are going. But in the season of preparation, God awakens within you a new vision for your life. He begins to stir your heart toward a clearer understanding of your calling, purpose, and destiny. This is not just about romantic love. It is about preparing your spirit, mind, and heart to align with the person He has destined for you. Purpose is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. Without it, a marriage becomes a fleeting connection without deeper substance. God is strategic in how He prepares individuals for marriage. He ensures that you are first aligned with His will and that your purpose is clear. This clarity equips you to enter into marriage with the right mindset, ready to support, love, and serve your spouse in alignment with God's divine design. In this season, you may find yourself exploring new opportunities, rediscovering passions you once lost, or gaining insights into areas of growth you never considered before. This period of growth is necessary because you need to be whole before you can join with another. A sense of purpose means that you are living with intent, and that intentionality will carry over into your future marriage. You will no longer be seeking fulfillment in an individual, but rather, you will seek to partner with someone who shares in the purpose that God has laid out for both of you. Moreover, as God prepares you for your marriage, He also begins to mold your character. Character is what sustains a marriage through challenges, and it is developed when you understand your purpose. As you walk in your calling, you gain confidence, stability, and clarity about your role in both your own life and your future marriage. This newfound sense of direction transforms you, allowing you to operate from a place of completeness rather than seeking someone to fill a void. God uses this process to teach you how to walk by faith, making decisions with purpose rather than simply reacting to circumstances. The clarity you receive is a sign that He is preparing you for the responsibility that marriage brings. As your life begins to take shape with purpose, you can rest assured that the person God is preparing for you is being shaped by the same process. Your purposes will align, and you will be ready to serve one another in a marriage that is driven by divine intention. Ultimately, a new sense of purpose brings a renewed sense of peace, knowing that your life is on the right track. This will allow you to enter your marriage with assurance, understanding that you and your spouse are both divinely positioned to fulfill a shared calling that glorifies God. Inner healing and emotional maturity. Another key sign that God is preparing you for a loving future marriage is the process of inner healing and emotional maturity. Many of us carry past wounds, hurts, and emotional baggage from previous relationships, childhood experiences, or personal struggles. Before God brings you into a marital relationship, He must heal your heart and mind. This inner healing is not always immediate, but it is necessary for your emotional well-being and for the success of your future marriage. God's preparation often involves a season of solitude and reflection. In this time, He will expose areas of your life that need healing. This is not to bring shame, but to bring deliverance. You may find yourself revisiting past experiences, confronting unresolved emotions, and experiencing breakthrough in areas that once held you captive. God's love is transformative. And as He heals your heart, He prepares you to love others with the same unconditional love that He extends to you. Emotional maturity is another vital part of this preparation. Before entering into a covenant with another person, you must be able to regulate your emotions, communicate effectively, and respond with understanding rather than reacting impulsively. God works in you to cultivate patience, empathy, and resilience. You will find yourself growing in areas like forgiveness, compassion, and self-control, which are all essential for a thriving marriage. During this season, you may experience moments of frustration as past wounds surface, but do not be discouraged. These moments are part of the healing process. God is not only restoring your emotional health, but He is also strengthening your ability to walk in love and grace. This healing process equips you to enter a marriage where you can offer genuine love and support to your spouse without carrying unnecessary emotional burdens. When God heals you emotionally, He also helps you develop a deeper understanding of your identity. You will no longer seek validation from your spouse, but rather you will enter marriage as a whole individual. This emotional stability will enable you to approach your future marriage from a place of strength and self-assurance, knowing that you are whole and complete in Christ. As God works in you, your emotional maturity will shine through in your relationships with others. Your friendships, family dynamics, and even your work environment will be a reflection of the emotional growth God has cultivated in you. The signs of emotional maturity will become evident in how you handle conflict, how you express your feelings, and how you support others. This maturity is an essential foundation for a healthy, loving marriage, a desire for healthy and godly relationships. When God is preparing you for a future marriage, you will notice a growing desire for healthy, godly relationships. The relationships you once entertained that were toxic or unproductive will no longer hold the same appeal. This desire for godly relationships is not only about romantic interests, but also includes your friendships, family relationships, and even your professional connections. God will begin to shape your heart so that you yearn for interactions that are rooted in love, respect, and mutual support. In this season, God will surround you with individuals who reflect the qualities and values you desire in a spouse. You will begin to see the importance of cultivating relationships that honor Him, relationships that foster growth and accountability. You may also begin to distance yourself from those relationships that are unhealthy or lead you away from your purpose. This is a clear sign that God is refining your desires, aligning them with His will for your life. A godly relationship is one that seeks to uplift, encourage, and build each other up. As you grow in this desire, you will start to recognize the importance of communication, trust, and transparency in all of your relationships. You will no longer settle for superficial connections, but you will seek depth and authenticity in your interactions. This desire will naturally lead you to a place where you are prepared to enter into a marriage that is based on these same principles. God will also begin to prepare you for the sacrificial nature of marriage. Marriage is not about taking, but about giving. It is about serving your spouse selflessly, just as Christ serves the church. As you experience godly relationships, you will learn the importance of giving of yourself, your time, and your resources. These lessons will prepare you to love your future spouse sacrificially, with patience, kindness, and humility. Moreover, God will teach you how to set healthy boundaries in relationships, which is a vital skill for any marriage. Healthy boundaries create space for mutual respect, trust, and growth. As you learn to navigate these boundaries in your friendships and family relationships, you will be ready to apply them in your marriage, ensuring a safe and loving environment for both you and your spouse. Ultimately, the desire for healthy, godly relationships is a clear sign that God is preparing your heart to enter into a marriage where both you and your spouse are committed to growing together in love, faith, and mutual respect. These relationships will serve as a model for the marriage God is preparing you for. Personal growth and spiritual development. As God prepares you for marriage, one of the most significant signs is your personal growth and spiritual development. Your relationship with God becomes more intimate, and you find yourself drawing closer to Him through prayer, study, and worship. This spiritual growth is essential because a strong marriage is built on a foundation of shared faith. God will strengthen your spiritual muscles so that you are able to lead and support your future spouse in their spiritual journey. In this season of preparation, you may feel a deeper hunger for God's word. The scriptures come alive in new ways, and you find yourself desiring to learn more about His plans for your life. This spiritual maturity equips you to navigate the complexities of life and marriage with wisdom, grace, and discernment. God will teach you how to rely on Him for strength and guidance in every season of your marriage. Spiritual development also includes the cultivation of the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. As God works in you, these fruits will become evident in your life. They will shape your interactions with others and prepare you to exhibit these qualities in your marriage. These attributes are the very essence of a loving, thriving marriage, and they will become second nature to you as you grow closer to God. Moreover, God will refine your character, teaching you to become more like Christ in your thoughts, words, and actions. As He develops your character, you will find that your desires align more closely with His will. You will no longer seek selfish gain, but rather you will desire to serve and love others as Christ has loved you. This transformation is essential for a healthy and lasting marriage, as it equips you to put your spouse's needs above your own and to live out the love that Christ demonstrated. In addition to personal growth, God will also teach you how to communicate with Him effectively. Prayer becomes more meaningful, and you learn to listen for His voice in every situation. This spiritual discipline will allow you to lead your marriage with wisdom and grace, ensuring that your relationship is always anchored in God's will. Your spiritual growth will be the bedrock on which your future marriage is built, giving you the strength to face challenges with faith and confidence. As you continue to grow spiritually, God will begin to reveal more of His plans for your marriage. You will gain a deeper understanding of the role He has for you in the life of your spouse and vice versa. This spiritual foundation will be essential for the longevity and success of your marriage, enabling both you and your spouse to navigate life's storms with faith and resilience. Patience, and trust in God's timing. Another sign that God is preparing you for a loving future marriage is the development of patience and trust in His perfect timing. One of the most challenging aspects of preparation is waiting. God's timing is never our timing, and this can be a difficult lesson to learn. However, as you grow in patience, you will learn to trust that God is working behind the scenes to bring everything together for your good. God's timing is perfect, and He knows exactly when you are ready to step into the next phase of your life. He will not rush the process, nor will He bring you into a marriage until He knows that you are fully prepared. Patience is a sign of maturity, and God uses this season to teach you to wait on Him with hope and expectation. The waiting period is not a punishment, but a time of preparation where God is equipping you for the blessings that lie ahead. As you learn to trust God's timing, you will begin to see the beauty of His perfect plan unfold in your life. You will no longer feel anxious or fearful about the future because you will trust that He has a purpose for every season. This trust will be a stabilizing force in your life, allowing you to remain steadfast in your faith even when things don't seem to be moving forward as quickly as you would like. Patience also teaches you the value of delayed gratification. In a world where instant results are often expected, patience allows you to appreciate the journey and the lessons learned along the way. God is not only preparing you for marriage, but also for the challenges and joys that come with it. The patience you develop now will serve you well in your future marriage, where timing, understanding, and compromise will be essential for building a lasting relationship. Furthermore, trust in God's timing cultivates a deeper faith in His promises. You will begin to believe that He is faithful to fulfill His word and that He will bring your future spouse into your life at the right time. You will no longer feel the need to rush or settle for less than God's best. Instead, you will wait with confident assurance, knowing that when the time is right, God will bring everything together perfectly. As you trust in God's timing, you will experience a sense of peace and contentment that only comes from knowing that you are in His hands. You can rest in the knowledge that He is orchestrating every detail of your future marriage, ensuring that it will be everything He has planned for you, a new level of self-love and self-worth. One of the final signs that God is preparing you for a loving future marriage is the development of a new level of self-love and self-worth. Before you can love someone else in a healthy and fulfilling way, you must first learn to love and value yourself. God wants to instill in you a sense of worth that is not based on external validation or approval, but on His love for you. In this season, God will help you recognize your intrinsic value as His child. He will show you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, deserving of love, respect, and kindness. This revelation will transform how you see yourself and how you interact with others. You will no longer settle for relationships that diminish your worth, but you will set boundaries and seek out connections that honor your value as a person. As you develop self-love, you will also learn the importance of self-care. You will understand that taking care of your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being is vital for a healthy marriage. This self-care is not about selfishness, but about ensuring that you are in a position to give your best to your future spouse. When you love yourself, you are able to love others more effectively and selflessly. Self-worth also leads to greater confidence. You will no longer doubt your ability to be a loving, supportive spouse, because you will recognize that you have been uniquely designed by God for this purpose. This confidence will empower you to enter marriage with a strong sense of identity, knowing that you are bringing your best self into the relationship. As you grow in self-love, you will also begin to understand the importance of emotional and spiritual health. You will no longer be looking to someone else to define your worth or provide your sense of purpose. You will find fulfillment in your relationship with God. And this foundation will prepare you for a marriage that is grounded in mutual respect and admiration. Ultimately, God's work in developing your self-love and self-worth is a sign that He is preparing you to enter into a marriage where you are whole, confident, and ready to give and receive love in its purest form. You will no longer be seeking to complete yourself through your spouse, but you will enter marriage as two whole individuals, ready to build a life together in love and purpose. The development of a servant's heart. When God is preparing you for a loving future marriage, one of the most significant signs you will notice is the development of a servant's heart. In our world today, marriage is often misunderstood as a place where personal fulfillment and happiness are the primary goals. However, God's design for marriage is rooted in service, humility, and selflessness. A key sign that you are being prepared for this divine covenant is when your heart begins to shift from a self-centered perspective to one that is more focused on serving others, especially your future spouse. The development of a servant's heart in this preparation season is not just about actions, but about your attitude and mindset. You begin to understand that marriage is not about what you can get, but what you can give. This mindset shift can be challenging, especially when society pushes the narrative of individual success and self-gratification. But as you grow spiritually, God will transform your heart, teaching you to serve with joy, humility, and grace. You will no longer be focused on your own needs and desires, but will begin to develop a deep sense of fulfillment in meeting the needs of others, especially in the context of a future marriage. Serving with a pure heart is a mark of emotional maturity, and God uses this period to cultivate that within you. He will challenge you to look beyond your own ambitions and desires and to prioritize the well-being of your future spouse. The idea of sacrifice will begin to feel less like an obligation and more like an expression of love. When you learn to serve without expecting anything in return, you are preparing yourself for the selfless love that a marriage requires. This servanthood is seen not only in grand gestures, but also in everyday actions. The small acts of kindness, the willingness to listen, and the desire to support and encourage your spouse through every season of life. God's process of refining your heart for servanthood also includes teaching you the power of humility. In marriage, both partners must learn to put each other's needs before their own. And this is only possible when pride is laid aside. You will begin to understand that a healthy marriage is not about dominance or control, but about mutual submission and respect. As God works on your heart, He will help you to surrender your selfish desires and to become more like Christ, who exemplified ultimate servanthood. The goal is to love your spouse with the same unconditional love that Jesus shows to His church. A love that is willing to sacrifice and serve, even in the face of challenges. This development of a servant's heart also prepares you for the difficult seasons that marriage will inevitably bring. When you enter marriage with the attitude of a servant, you are prepared to face conflict, disappointment, and hardship with a heart that seeks reconciliation, peace, and healing. You will be able to navigate those seasons not with resentment or bitterness, but with a heart that is willing to forgive, restore, and move forward in love. The servant heart that God is cultivating in you will be the anchor that keeps you grounded in love, even during times of struggle. Moreover, as you embrace the role of a servant, you will begin to realize that this is not just a temporary season of preparation, but a lifelong journey. A servant's heart is something that must be nurtured continuously in marriage. It is a mindset that you carry with you into every aspect of your relationship, creating an atmosphere where both you and your spouse can thrive. The love you give and receive in marriage will reflect the same servant-hearted love that God shows you. This attitude will create an environment of trust, understanding, and grace, where both partners are free to grow, serve, and love without fear or hesitation. As you continue to develop a servant's heart, you will find that your future marriage becomes a beautiful expression of mutual love and sacrifice, where both individuals are equally committed to serving and honoring one another. This selflessness creates a strong foundation where both partners are invested not only in their own happiness, but in the happiness and well-being of their spouse. A marriage rooted in this kind of servant-hearted love will reflect God's glory in every way, and it will be a marriage that stands the test of time, filled with joy, peace, and fulfillment. Through the development of a servant's heart, God is preparing you not just for a marriage, but for a lifetime of loving, serving, and growing together in unity and purpose. It is this love that will bind you and your spouse together, creating a covenant that is strong and unshakable. The servant's heart God is cultivating in you today is a sign of the loving, selfless marriage He has prepared for you